Some people call them heroes, but most veterans don't feel like heroes. So there's a disconnect between the actual experience of war and the perceived experience of it. That disconnect makes veterans feel isolated and misunderstood. Others question veterans' moral character for participating in wars started on false pretenses, or in any war at all. A small but vocal minority calls veterans leeches or lazy. They say that veterans are taking advantage of the government and subsequently taxpayers when they partake in the benefits promised to them for their service. When faced with these accusations, misunderstandings, and questions, veterans start to question themselves. Moral injury is emotional, psychological, and spiritual. This makes it different from post-traumatic stress disorder, which is more of a physiological reaction. The brain and the body's response to extreme, prolonged stress or fear. Some of the symptoms of PTSD: nightmares, flashbacks, insomnia, disassociation, can be stabilized with medication. But moral injury doesn't seem to respond to medication, at least not permanently, not at the soul level. Time in and of itself is also not enough to heal the suffering of moral injury. Time can soften the sting of moral injury, but it can also harden memories, making emotional scar tissue even tougher to heal. That's what happens if you leave a wound to fester without tending to it. And that's why so many Vietnam veterans take psychiatric medications for decades, and then, when they retire or divorce, or are otherwise forced to face themselves and their past, still find a world of pain waiting for them. The medication has only treated their symptoms, not the root cause of those symptoms. The wound can grow so big, so consuming, it feels like the only way to escape it is death. The VA estimates that in the United States, 20 veterans take their own lives every day. While the majority of those who die by suicide are over the age of 50, the number of younger vets who contribute to that 20-a-day statistic is steadily increasing. If the veterans of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan fail to acknowledge and heal moral injury, the millennial generation of veterans will continue to face the same fate as those who've gone before. This book offers an unexpected antidote to moral injury. It shows how healing is possible even when traditional methods like talk therapy, EMDR, eye movement desensitization, and reprocessing, and medication have failed. It reveals a healing method that is accessible to anyone who's willing to sit still for a few moments and just breathe. It shows how, as soon as an individual is willing to take responsibility for his or her own healing, grace rushes in to relieve the pain, unravel traumatic memories, and release the past for good. It shows how meditation, breathwork, and the body's natural intelligence can help heal deep trauma in the ways the mind can't. You can't think yourself into feeling better. You can't will yourself to heal. But in taking on a discipline like meditation, you create the space where healing can happen naturally. This book shows how the act and discipline of meditation can redeem a life, no matter how deep the wound. The responsibility to acknowledge, accept, and heal from moral injury doesn't just belong to those suffering from moral injury. When we send our youth into battle on our behalf, we are complicit in their actions. We are responsible for bearing our portion of the pain those actions cause. And in taking responsibility, we are empowered to help those women and men rebuild their moral scaffolding, reclaim their place in the society they volunteered to protect, and remember what it means to be human and to belong. Tom Voss and Rebecca Nguyen. Introduction. From 2003 to 2006, I served on active duty in the U.S. Army. In October of 2004, I deployed to Mosul, Iraq, to support Operation Iraqi Freedom. I served as an infantry scout in the battalion Scout Sniper Platoon in the 3rd Battalion, 21st Infantry Regiment.